Hello, my name is David Irwin. I'm the Enterprise Support Lead for Information Technology Services here at Case Western Reserve University. Today we're going to talk about monitoring our environment, what we do as an ITS division to monitor all of these systems, components, and services that we provide to the campus community. We're going to take a look at where our monitoring was to start with, where we are today, and where we look to go in the future. So the first thing that we'll take a look at is our journey to service maturity. As a support organization, there are a number of components that make up our ability to service all the services that the division provides. A support organization starts off very reactive, and we slowly become proactive, moving into a customer-centric mode of thinking, and then eventually business-centric. The good thing about a model like this is you notice these items aren't numbered. There really is no set order to follow, but it's important that we try to strive to reach each of these as we move towards a business-centric focus. So at a base level, we have our basic response to issues, and eventually move into a path of tracking all of those issues. We look at asset management and our topic today of monitoring. We include knowledge and self-help items, which then moves us into a customer-centric focus. Multi-channel incident reporting, for instance, integration with other systems, as well as SLA reporting and workload planning. Our future state, we want to look at productivity analysis and how our outages and services impact directly the user community. So you may have heard the term ITIL. That is the basic framework that we follow as we work through everything within our environment. The actual definition is the Information Technology Infrastructure Library, and it's a worldwide accepted framework for service management. In other words, ITIL is about how an organization and the people within it respond to planned and unexpected variations in that environment, from outages to changes to growth. So we're going to take a quick look at our ITIL Roadmap here at Case, and then we'll get into more details about our monitoring. We obviously started with incident management, in which a customer or technician reports an incident or requests one of our services. And the goal with incident management is very simple. The goal is to restore normal activity as quickly as possible. We then implemented change management. This monitors and manages changes to our production environments, and making sure that those changes are scheduled, discussed, and approved. The goal of change management is to avoid outages and downtime and minimize impact. Today we're going to focus on event management, which is monitoring. Monitoring detects incidents or conditions that could lead to an outage, and proactively alerts support teams to enable corrective action before an outage occurs. So let's start talking about where monitoring started off. We've always done it, sort of. A number of support teams would have distributed tools across our environment, using those to monitor those services. Monitoring was often used to confirm a condition and lead to ultimate resolution. The problem with a distributed method of monitoring is there wasn't a common tool set, and the view into those monitoring tools was sometimes isolated within a particular group or particular technology. And the feature set may have been limited depending on the tool being used. One tool may have provided a limited level of access into an environment, where another tool may have had a completely different set of features. And not all critical services had defined monitoring in place. This meant that we had an uneven balance of what we could provide both before, during, and after an outage to one of our services. So our move from being reactive to proactive. We've always been great at putting out fires. When an outage condition occurs, our division has always been able to rapidly respond and restore service. We've always had very good response to ticket service level agreements, or SLAs. Change management has helped us reduce the outage frequency and the duration of our outages. But we needed to take a mindset change and let and look for issues and fix them before they become outages. And that really has been a change for the division, and has been a very positive one, as all of the resolver teams across the division have participated in these efforts. So we have a new toolbox, and that product selected was SolarWinds. SolarWinds was selected as our central monitoring platform. The division worked with an integrator to design a platform usable by engineers, application support, as well as our customers. A multi-phased approach to implementation will continue to enhance and mature that service. So early iterations of this project were simply standing that service up within our environment, putting in pieces of software that would monitor and collect data about every item in our data centers and across our infrastructure, and categorizing those and collecting the data that's necessary in order to actively monitor a service or a component. And so we'll take a look into sort of the deeper views that we now have as part of this SolarWinds tool. The example here is the campus map, which represents a real-time status of our network connectivity in each campus building. It allows for immediate confirmation and dispatch of engineers to the location of the trouble. Historically, especially during off hours, to receive a single call at the service desk, for instance, saying that there was a network connectivity issue in a particular building, if that was the only user at that location, it became very difficult to confirm whether or not it was a localized issue or whether it was a larger scale issue. Tools such as this and the campus map provide us the ability to know when an entire location is suffering a disruption of service and be able to dispatch as quickly as possible. Usage and traffic. One of the great things about the current SolarWinds tool is the ability to look at all of the data associated with a particular service, and to have a centralized tool having all of that information in one place. For instance, looking at the top 10 wireless access points by client count, we can quickly see where most of our population is using the wireless network, and what locations either are showing limited connectivity or high usage at a particular time. And then the ability to look at a particular asset within the environment, and being able to look at storage and memory utilization at a glance provides all of our technical teams the ability to react quickly to issues that may come up within the environment. And obviously our critical services are those services identified that have the most impact to the university. A large part of the most current phase of the SolarWinds project has been working with our critical service owners on how we monitor and alert on critical services. The project team met with each of the critical service owners to identify all of the components within their particular service, and levels within those components which would be cause for alarm and alert. So those would be things like disk storage, memory usage, and obviously the overall availability of those services. Some of these things were monitored separately in the past, and for other services, this was the first time that this type of examination into the service had occurred. And this really provides us with a very deep base of information and knowledge around each of our critical services. It includes a system architecture map, which allows anyone with access to the tool, as well as our service desk, to be able to drill down and actually see which component within a particular service is having the issue. And that leads to a much quicker resolution of an incident in the environment. And going beyond green and red, almost every monitoring tool will allow you to show whether or not a service is available or not. SolarWinds also gives us the ability to measure performance as well as that availability. One of the great features about this tool is the ability to create synthetic user transactions. And so that means SolarWinds actually will access a service and be able to go through a scripted series of events in which the tool will measure and monitor the duration of each of those steps. So for instance, if we take a look at a service like Adobe Connect, SolarWinds will actually sign into the system. It will check the calendar for a meeting. It will create a meeting and then close a meeting. And all of those data points are measured, and then thresholds are set by the service owner, and then alerting can take place. So if the opening of a meeting takes longer than expected, we can send alerts out to the resolver teams and to our service desk, alerting them of the condition. And then that's monitored to see if that's a temporary situation due to traffic or whether it's a larger issue that needs attention. This now allows us to identify trends in usage and performance and make informed decisions about those. So it brings up the question, if a server fails in the middle of the night and no one is there to see it, did it actually fail? Well, obviously, to answer that question is a definitive yes. As an IT professional, you know that you are going to be on call. You know you're going to be expected to respond to issues whenever they occur. All of the monitoring and alerts that we could put in place is a great thing, but then you're sleeping with your cell phone under your pillow or your laptop next to you because you may need to respond to an alert or monitor a condition to see if further action needs to be taken. The next step in the maturity of the monitoring process here on campus was the creation of our Network Operations Center. So the division partnered with the CDI IT Solutions to create the Network Operations Center. CDI provides our service desk service for the campus, and aligning the Network Operations Center with the service desk takes advantage of great synergy within that space and a knowledge of our environment. The NOC provides 24/7, 365 monitoring of the SolarWinds environment and works very closely with the case ITS resolver teams in their interactions. So their activities include looking at every alert and event that is triggered within the tool. They have certain guidelines set for the duration of any of those events and what actions to take. So for example, a service that may show degraded performance, say for 2 minutes, will be logged as a ticket and assigned to a resolver team with an alert priority. A service that is showing a more persistent degraded service gets an elevated priority, and then certainly outage conditions engage our critical incident process and our ops manager on call procedure as well. Automated alerts are also available within the tool, so many of the alerts that get triggered and are viewed by the NOC are also receivable by the resolver teams, and they can monitor that process as the NOC updates those tickets. And this means a rapid response to all the issues that can occur within our environment. And so we have several goals when it comes to monitoring our environment. We want to prevent disruptions in service by identifying trends in performance and taking action before an outage occurs. We're creating a new metric which is essentially an outage save. We want to be able to identify those small items that happen in the environment that left unattended could lead to a larger scale disruption of service. And that's truly the goal of event management and monitoring in general. We want to be able to use trending data and metrics to make informed decisions on service delivery, changes, and foster continual service improvement. The data set that is now available through the tool, in some cases, was never available before. All of our service owners help create a service scorecard on a monthly basis and are starting to use the SolarWinds tool to get the metrics and data that they collect and be able to make those decisions with trending information gathered from the tool. And we begin to be able to provide visibility to the user community on service performance and availability. The end user is really the best gauge of how well a service is functioning, and part of our maturity as a division is to make sure that our measurement of performance and availability is out there for the customer base to see, and then that fosters a dialogue and discussion when system changes need to be made. You can start to take a look at the information that we have as part of our monitoring suite. If you visit the ITS site at www.case.edu/ITS and click on Service Status, the dashboard that you now see there is a real-time representation of the current availability of each critical service, its year-to-date availability, and also details on performance trending. More dashboards and data sets are being developed to provide even deeper insight. For our ITS Resolver community, we're working on training sessions that we're putting together and levels of access for everyone across the division to see various levels of view within the monitoring environment, whether that's for a particular service that you directly support or any of the other associated services on which your services depend on. We'll be seeing more information about that in the coming weeks. And we do have ways that you can reach out to the monitoring team if you have questions about monitoring. Members of the ITS community can create a footprints ticket and assign it to ITS monitoring. That could be a general question, that can be a suggestion about monitoring, or a change to any of the items within the monitoring suite. Questions about this presentation can be directed to me at dxu20@case.edu. And obviously, if you need to report an actual incident or service request, we ask that you contact our service desk directly. The journey to service maturity that we're taking is one that is almost constant. There is always opportunities for us to improve our services and improve our processes, and the ability to monitor will continue to evolve as well. We're looking at new modules within SolarWinds that will give us even better trending information and to be able to blend data from different parts of the tool and create very customized views of performance and availability. Our Network Operations Center is also going to be participating in changes to our change management process as well as our critical incident response process as well. All these changes are aligned very well with our goal, which is to provide the best services possible and making sure that those services are available and to the case community. Thank you very much.